The year is 1943. The tide of the Second World War is beginning to turn, but the fortress of Europe remains breached only in the imagination of the Allied commanders. In North Africa, the guns have fallen silent. The British and American armies stand on the southern shores of the Mediterranean, looking north across the blue water. They are poised to strike at the soft underbelly of the Axis powers. The next step is obvious. It is written on every map and whispered in every war room from London to Berlin. The target must be Sicily. The island is the stepping stone to Italy. It is the key to the continent. The strategic logic is undeniable. And that is the problem. Winston Churchill knows it. Franklin Roosevelt knows it. And most dangerously, Adolf Hitler knows it. The Germans are not fools. They are already pouring concrete into the hills of Sicily. They are moving their fiercest divisions, their best tanks, and their deadliest aircraft to the island. If the Allies attempt an amphibious landing there, they will be walking into a slaughterhouse. The beaches of Sicily promise to be red with the blood of thousands of young men. Unless the Germans can be made to believe something else. Unless they can be convinced against all logic that the obvious target is a lie. This is the story of the most audacious, macabre, and brilliant deception in the history of warfare. It is a plan born in the smoky backrooms of British Naval Intelligence, a plan so bizarre that it seems lifted from the pages of a fiction novel. The plan requires a hero to deliver secret documents to the enemy. But this hero cannot be a soldier. He cannot be a spy. He cannot even be alive. To fool the Führer, the British need a corpse. The architects of this grim theater are Ewan Montague and Charles Cholmondeley. They are members of the 20 Committee, a group dedicated to the art of double-crossing the enemy. Their idea is simple but terrifying. Take a dead body, dress it as an officer of the Royal Marines, plant top-secret invasion plans on him, and float him onto a beach in neutral Spain, hoping he will wash up into the hands of German spies. But first, they need a body. They cannot simply use any fallen soldier. The body has to look as if it is drowned at sea after a plane crash. In a London morgue, they find their man. His name is Glyndwr Michael. He is not a war hero. He is a homeless man from Wales, a tragic soul who lived in poverty and died alone from ingesting rat poison. In life, he was invisible, ignored by society. But in death, he is about to become the most important officer in the British military. Montague and Cholmondeley set to work. They do not just dress the corpse, they invent a life for him. Glyndwr Michael becomes Acting Major William Martin. But a name is not enough. To fool the meticulous German intelligence, the man needs a soul. The intelligence officers spend weeks creating what they call pocket litter. They fill his pockets with the debris of a real life. They create an identity card with a photo. They insert a receipt for a diamond engagement ring. They forge angry letters from a bank about an overdraft. Most touchingly, they create a fiancée for him. They name her Pam. They write love letters, stained with tears, and place them in the Major's pocket. They even include a photograph of a girl who is actually a clerk at the War Office. They make Major Martin a man with flaws, with debts, with a broken heart, and with a future he will never see. He becomes real.
Then come the documents. This is the bait. They craft a letter from a high-ranking general to a commander in North Africa. The letter is chatty, informal, but it contains a bombshell. It casually suggests that the Allied attack on Sicily is merely a diversion. It points clearly to the true targets, Greece and Sardinia. It is a masterpiece of reverse psychology. They seal the letters in a briefcase and attach it to the Major's trench coat with a leather chain so it will not float away in the Atlantic swells. Now the journey begins. It is April 1943. Major Martin is placed inside a steel canister filled with dry ice to slow the decomposition. The canister is driven north through the darkened, war-torn streets of London all the way to Scotland. There, waiting in the cold waters of the Holy Loch, is the submarine HMS Seraph. The canister is loaded aboard. The crew is told it contains secret meteorological equipment. Only the captain knows that inside that steel tube lies the body of a man who is about to change the war. The Seraph slips out into the Atlantic. For days, the submarine navigates the dangerous waters, dodging German U-boats and patrols. The atmosphere inside the sub is tense. The smell of diesel and sweat hangs heavy in the air. Finally, they reach their destination, the coast of Huelva in southern Spain. They chose this spot carefully. Huelva is a nest of German spies, but the local Spanish officials are technically neutral. The British are betting on the inefficiency and corruption of the Spanish bureaucracy to pass the information to the Nazis. In the early hours of April 30th, the Seraph surfaces. The night is black. The smell of the ocean fills the lungs of the officers as they haul the steel canister onto the deck. They open it. The body of Major Martin slides out. The officers gather around for a brief, whispered service. They read the 39th Psalm. Then, gently, they push the Major into the water. The wash of the submarine's propellers pushes him towards the shore. He is alone again, drifting in the dark, carrying the fate of the invasion in his cold hands.
A few hours later, a sardine fisherman spots something floating in the water. He hauls the body onto the sand. The Spanish authorities arrive. The game is afoot. What follows is a nerve-wracking diplomatic dance. The British naval attaché in Madrid begins frantic, panicked inquiries. He demands the return of the body, and most importantly, the briefcase. He acts desperate, sending telegrams that he knows the Germans are intercepting. He wants the Nazis to believe that the British are terrified of losing those documents. It works. The Spanish officials, trying to play both sides, allow the German Abwehr agent in Huelva, a man named Adolf Hitler, to access the briefcase. In a secret room, the Germans carefully open the envelopes. They use steam and special tools to extract the letters without breaking the wax seals. They photograph every page. Then they dry the paper, replace the letters, and hand the briefcase back to the British, claiming it was never opened. The British experts examine the returned letters. They find the microscopic evidence they were looking for. The eyelashes they had secretly hidden in the folds of the paper are gone. The paper shows signs of being wetted and dried. The Germans have taken the bait. The intelligence travels up the chain of command, all the way to the wolf's lair. Adolf Hitler reads the reports. He is convinced. The documents confirm what he feared, that the Allies plan to invade Greece. He swallows the deception whole. In a move that stuns his generals, Hitler orders panzer divisions to move from France to Greece. He sends Field Marshal Rommel to Athens. He strips the defenses of Sicily. He leaves the door to Italy wide open, guarding a house that no one intends to rob. On July 9, 1943, the Allied armada appears on the horizon off the coast of Sicily. The German defenders are outnumbered and out of position. They are looking the wrong way. The invasion, Operation Husky, is a massive success. The casualties are far lower than predicted. Sicily falls in weeks, not months. The regime of Mussolini begins to crumble. Back in London, a cryptic telegram arrives at headquarters. It contains just 3 words: mincemeat swallowed whole. The deception was a total victory. But in a quiet cemetery in Huelva, Spain, lies the man who made it possible. For decades, his tombstone bore the name William Martin. It was only years later that the world learned the truth. The man who saved thousands of Allied soldiers was not a major. He was not a hero in the traditional sense. He was Glyndwr Michael, a man who found no place in the world while he lived, but in death changed the course of history. He was the man who never was, and yet he was the soldier who won the most important battle of 1943 without ever firing a shot.